pain like two bad nurses. And the pain from these here motherfucking verses. Ridiculous thirsts involving hearses. To the dirt shit, first fixin' in autos to work with. Slugs to the shirt shit, chest of squirt shit. I'm making it with an expert kid. From birth to the earth split, it'll hurt bitch. Show you how worse it than worse get in the zone. See the vein when the pain repelling, then the clothes and the curtains bitch. When adrenaline's pumping, I don't understand discussion. Only hear certain shit. I'm a misunderstood nigga, and I'm off my square. How got me reversing clips and dispersing shit.
What can I say to make you see how the fuck I feel? To make me wanna jump over the edge. I'm charged up and stuff is getting shot up on the legs. No pain instead of cane, I took a blood off to the head.
So tell me what it's
retaliate with lethal repercussion. I feel a reefer rushing and go into things like it's a wicked stick. Tip the Benadryl, hop back up in the steel to get the kicking shit for niggas and bitches that I kick it with. I was born to get you pumped up. It's like some lead bust, cause I get motherfuckers a head rust. And your head's bust when you jumped up. Cause what I say must stick at you geek, my eyes red plus. For smoking shit the niggas hit on and die. Made me wanna slip the clip on the side. And if you act like a bitch on the side, if we have to, then the whole west side and let the shit go on and ride with the trigger bust. Like when the motherfucker have to go and pick up the pump to make his opposition chest kick up and jump. When you lit up the gun to make your body get up and hum. Like when the motherfucker have to go and pick up the pump to make a trigger click up and dump. So turn the bass kick up and bump and let the rhythm fit up the drum. Like when the motherfucker have to go and pick up the pump to make his opposition chest kick up and jump. When you lit up the gun to make your body get up and hum. Like when the motherfucker have to go and pick up the pump to make a trigger kick up and dump. So turn the bass kick up and bump and let the rhythm fit off the drum. Pulling up and bailing out like we car sick and ready to start shit. Started burying some hairs like an ostrich and load the whole cartridge and throw the shells in the garbage. The hardest the motherfuckers can never achieve what I've accomplished. Young bucks, my accomplice, located his existence with my 6 cents like a compass. And started on a journey to astonish and start to lyrical. And since I snip on my umbilical, these flow away smoking the blunt duck, adrenaline pumping veins, he rub my pumped up.
And I'm calibrated at 360 degrees. See, that's 300 niggas that's gon' die about 60 slugs to do this deed. We too much for the industrialists to fuck with this. On the brink of fucking up some shit. Dismantle, deduct some shit. It's hard to imagine what niggas got nerves to do. So I guess I just take that fucking nerve from you, then think what I'm on the verge to do. And I got the urge to let somebody close your curtains, fool. From killing the verses, fool, I be one of the worstest, dude. I'm the worstest. Looking about 9 millimeters above your surface. Unleash these things and I defeat your purpose, bitch.
That's your adrenaline rush. Like when the motherfucker have to go and pick up the pump to make his opposition chest kick up and jump. When you lit up the gun to make your body get up and hum. Like when the motherfucker have to go and pick up the pump to make a trigger click up and dump. So turn the bass kick up and bump and let the rhythm fit up the drum. Like when the motherfucker have to go and pick up the pump to make his opposition chest kick up and jump. When you lit up the gun to make your body get up and hum. Like when the motherfucker have to go and pick up the pump to make a trigger click up and dump. So turn the bass kick up and bump and let the rhythm fit up the drum.
Roundabout, right next.
Oh, sorry.
Request.
Get up the chat.
Okay, I did it my way. Thank you. Shout out to everybody. Let's share the link and have a show going because my voice is not the best today. Even if it was good, I wouldn't been able to sing it still. You guys know how I sing. Beautiful, says Ranty. Shout out to Wolfgang, Ranty, Hugo, Gauss, Montreal, RT.
I think the earth is flat or something.
It's been too wet. He will not plant. He has not planted any winter crops this year. It's too late.
Yeah,
we got exactly the opposite problem.
We got in the house Gauss W and Joey D. See them, guys.
Can you hear me? You hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, a little quiet, but we hear you.
That's okay. Can you hear me better now? Hello.
Yes, a bit louder.
A little bit louder. I can't mute. How do I mute if I want to?
It's at the bottom.
3 buttons at the bottom. If you move your
you gotta hover over it and it'll appear. Just take your mouse down to the bottom and it'll appear. As long as your chat box isn't open, of course. Jose, I posted a little mini video of the air pollution in India if you wanted to show.
Cool. Or if you're on a mobile, just click on the screen where your icon appears and the 3 buttons appear. Just click in the left one to mute and unmute yourself.
I'm helping you.
Let me share my screen. Hopefully the signal is strong enough to pull it off. Yeah. We don't need audio, right?
No, the second one I posted definitely has subtitles, but this one is just, I think, visual. Yeah. You could just play visual. The second one has subtitles, I'm pretty sure.
And this is a long ad.
Aren't those ads annoying?
Long ass ad.
I've just got a pizza in the oven, and Channel Q, can you talk for 15 minutes? Because I love you. Your sense of humour is brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Is that how you want to time the pizza? If she talks for 15 minutes, then your pizza's done.
I don't always do so well on the when I get put on the spot.
Right. What to say? How to rebuttal that?
Yeah.
Look at Delhi, 153 is their air quality, and New York is 91.
Yeah.
I just saw 14 for New York.
Oh, was it 14? Oh, I must have read a different one and thought it said New York. Is New York on the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, I must have saw it wrong.
At least I thought it was.
I thought it said 91. Whatever.
CNN's just such a bad source for any kind of information. Though they just clickbait it like crazy.
Did they describe what this meter measures?
What are they fucking talking about?
They've had this surge in the harvest months where it's really bad in New Delhi. And that's what I'm specifically talking about. And that is caused specifically by the rice fields being burned.
Exactly, because
We're talking about fucking pollution? Really?
that's a big factor that it adds up to all it
Propaganda.
was, and it's in specific time of a year, and that just is. It's killing it fast, very fast. It's getting really bad.
Oh my god, did you hear me talking to that Allen guy on Jamie Brown's yesterday? Holy shit, that guy's so stupid. I should like upload this shit. I really don't want to hear myself talking, but I was going off on Allen. I joined you can't hear me? Mic check. My mic's really low. I should have checked this. Holy shit, it's at 5? That's because I was screaming at Alan? Okay, yeah, my mic was at 5. That's why you couldn't hear me. He was yelling at that Allen guy on Jamie Brown's yesterday. I totally flipped shit on him. But I guess if I start the stream again, I don't know, does it cut out for you guys? Do you have to refresh? How does that work? Or does it just buffer for a second and come back? Should I play me talking to Alan? He's such an idiot. He was asking me to like name who's behind the climate change propaganda, and I said the Council on Foreign Relations and the Royal Institute of International Affairs, and he's like, yeah, but who specifically named the people? And I'm like, well, those are the organizations. I can't answer that question. I'd have to like look it up. I don't know everything off the top of my fucking head. And then he's like, oh, you're making a claim, you should know everything. Alan is Mickey Mouse. This fucking guy is such an idiot, dude. He's so dumb. Like, it's hard to have a conversation with him because he's so stupid. Fucking retard. And he was gaslighting me. I completely went off on him and started calling him like a cunt and all this shit. But he was gaslighting me, so fuck him. Gaslighting is psychological abuse. It buffers and come back. Okay. I guess
Rock came off and formed the moon.
Right.
The moon.
I think the moon. The fact that the moon and the sun are the same size in the sky is pretty astronomical to be like a
coincidence.
Yeah,
Astronomical.
So when the moon was So when the moon was breaking off the Earth, where was the water at this point?
Well, they say water's come from like asteroids, like ice, because all the comets are full of ice. So it's got that's you know that's.
The thing I watched says loads of little asteroids came to Earth and deposited water, like lots of them.
Alan, do you feel bad? You feel bad for this orange I'm eating?
Yeah.
You think it's conscious, Alan? Plants?
No, they don't have nervous system.
Oh, my microphone is totally fucked. What the hell?
So then there's a consciousness, them receptors leading to somewhere.
Why does it do that?
Like, I know it's going to be totally different to our consciousness, but does plants have its own consciousness?
Holy fuck, I hate this microphone. This auto
Well,
game
there's no
shit.
evidence for it.
Dude, no.
Have you ever seen one on time lapse on a route or something like that?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What? My microphone just keeps like shutting off. What? Why don't you just stay? I swear. I swear to God. There's like... There's an option to... So... Advanced. Allow applications to take exclusive control of this device. No. Or should I do that? God, this fucking mic is so annoying. It's a nice mic though, but the auto gain, now it's not doing it. It was like drop me all the way down. What the fuck? Now it's staying there. What the fuck? It's like possessed, dude. There's a demon in my microphone. Alright.
The moving, you mean?
Yeah, where it's actually tapping and feeling for little gaps and pulling them through when there's one there.
Okay.
To me, that looks like something, and it's going at a different speed. Like, if you've got to think of our existence, we see things that in a certain spectrum, don't they? So things that's going too fast, we can't see. Things that's going too slow, we can't see.
Yeah, but just because it moves doesn't, because it moves and grows, doesn't mean it's conscious. A sentient being is something that has some kind of consciousness, is aware of its surroundings, can make logical decisions to a certain degree.
No, you're talking about...
Well, there's a difference between sentience and consciousness. Sentience... Doesn't that mean... the ability to perceive one's environment and experience sensations such as pain and suffering, or pleasure, comfort. An animal that is sentient will have the ability to receive internal sensation and information from its environment and then interpret it as an emotion. So I'd say, like, I think there's a consciousness to everything. I was listening to Alan Watts last night, and he was talking about how there's like a relationship between space and solid, and that space isn't really empty. There's, like, he was talking about how your eyes are set to see a certain frequency vibration, and where they can't, when there's stuff there that doesn't stimulate your eyes, you see nothing, or you see space, empty space, but it's not really empty space. You can't see the frequency. There's frequency vibration everywhere in the universe, and you can't see, you can only see a spectrum of it. What the fuck was I talking about? He's basically saying, yeah, so there's no such thing as empty. He's saying that's like all consciousness. Like, there's consciousness everywhere. Like a rock has a very rudimentary form of consciousness, but it still has a consciousness. Because, like, if he has he'll have like a gong, and he'll say like if you bang on the gong and it vibrates and responds, that's like a rudimentary consciousness right there. But then sentience is your ability to perceive your environment. Okay. Anyways.
You talk about intelligence and displaying the intelligence. I'm on about consciousness, experience, something. It's having an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different to ours, but it's having its own experience.
Mm. Does a plant have it depends what you mean by consciousness then.
Well, there's another thing. Could the stuff that we eat not actually be our consciousness, but it's like, are we feeling consciousness through other consciousnesses?
Look, I don't understand. Give me an example.
Like, could you be eating conscious, like, without the food put into you, or your mother when it's feeding you, you wouldn't be alive. So is that food actually experiencing consciousness through a human, like a two-way thing?
I don't really understand that, Mick, dude, very well. D. Hoffman.
The bond that you have with that
fucking
other person.
hell, the stupid stream.
Yeah, there's factors, isn't there? You know, if it was a choice
God.
between
This has never done this so bad
your relatives,
before.
you choose your relative.
The fuck.
Yeah, so in this human race, it's built in to save the human over an animal. Isn't it? If you're just going on your visual.
That depends on the relative.
Well,
it's
right.
I kill me.
In general, you're right. Yes, because 97% of people don't consider animals to have the same or a commensurate value to humans.
Well, there's got to be a built-in thing. There's got to be a built-in thing from the race to protect the human race. It protects itself. Things like a pack of dogs.
I want to restart my computer. It's never been this bad.
But I mean, we don't live in that kind of world now, don't we? We live in quite a civilized world, and I would think at this point in time we can kind of accept that we don't. I'm not too up on that. I can.
Alan is saying we live in a world where we don't need to eat meat anymore, even though we've evolved eating meat. Never mind that.
Can see that there may be some elements of physiology where some people find it very difficult not to eat meat in some areas. But obviously that's the question we continue to ask. But it's quite straightforward. People can live on a vegan diet, so that's just about their ethics, isn't it?
That's his meat, that's his standard. Is like, do you die? No, then it's good. But I mean, you can live on a vegan diet, but it keeps cutting out at my microphone. I feel like a fucking Steve McRae amateur hour here. Jesus Christ. So there's a distinction between whether you can live in a vegan diet and whether the vegan diet is actually healthy, because the information I'm getting is that they're brainwashing us. Like, in the book, the Technological Society, that I probably mentioned that here, I think, and I'm gonna tell him this shit. It talks about how they've indoctrinated us to a society of experts, where the experts dictate, like, people will Google. Well, anyways, the Technological Society is talking about we've been indoctrinated to seek expert advice. So everyone Googles everything. They don't, like, what's in fashion, what should I wear, what should I eat, what's healthy to eat. And there's tons of really crap health advice. I remember in the 90s they told us all to not eat fat, and then now it's no carbs. It's just stupid shit. Like, the truth is you need fat, carb, and protein in your diet. Those are called macronutrients. Your body needs that shit, all of it. It's not like one is good and the other is bad. But they take advantage. The propaganda takes advantage of our human nature, because the humans, like, we see things in black and white, because we're humans are symmetrical beings. You know, there's like a left side and a right side, and they mirror each other. So we see everything's in terms of like two-sided. 'Cause that's our nature. But there's like, you know, Jed's in the chat. There's a lot of gray area to things. People want us to think pick black or white and then proclaim that is the best. But it's like a mixture of the both is the best. Like. That's the truth philosophy, like Bruce Lee or Miyamoto Musashi or other people. The fuck was I talking about? I'm totally fucking confused.
You can choose
So,
plants.
people adapt, don't they, to the environment to a certain extent. Like you pick a set of weights up, your body
Oh yeah, they're indoctrinated us what to eat. Yeah, anyways.
adapts, doesn't it? It's a very adaptive thing, isn't it?
Mm.
So kind of through generations.
If it was the same clone, and if say if your mum and dad had a particular disease, then it would kind of wipe you out. But because you're part of your mum and part of your dad and little bits of others, you're a different person. So
Did you know that you know, like India has a long culture of vegetarianism, but like there was a group of Indians who thought that they should get rid of the old traditions of not eating meat because they theorized that since they didn't eat meat, they weren't physically strong enough to resist British tyranny, and Mahatma Gandhi was one of these people.
Would that be a placebo effect, though? Like you tell
That's a legit thing. I looked that shit up. Oh man, I actually got a big draw here. What the fuck do I do here? I've got 12 outs. That's 25% equity. Yeah, I'm calling. Bam, I hit it. Hit it. Hit that shit. Boom. Yeah, so there's a group of Indians who believe that part of the reason the British Empire was able to dominate their country, was the fact that they were vegetarian and they weren't physically strong enough to resist the tyranny. Oh my goodness. If they're using propaganda to brainwash us to be vegan and vegetarian, that's so they can like rule over us or inflict more tyranny on us, and we won't be able to resist it. I think it goes into the depopulation agenda. They want us on a shit diet so we're more susceptible to diseases and we'll die off. I think that is the purpose of all this vegetarian veganism craze. Does my mic work still? Jesus. Stupid ass stream.
the people that would believe it.
I believe that the rulers intentionally made meat too expensive for the peasant class to afford to be able to eat because they use food as a weapon. It's a class warfare thing. The upper class wants to use food as a weapon on the lower class, and they make us weak. And they're using propaganda to make people think that vegetarian and vegan diets are healthy lifestyles.
well, I mean, the largest animal in the world, the elephant, lives off leaves. So
What kind of argument is that? Duh, the largest animal eats plants, therefore what?
I don't know.
That's like the stupidest fucking argument. They've evolved. They have completely different digestion. Like grass eaters, right? Like they have completely different digestive tracts than humans because they're designed to just like really break down that plant material and get all the nutrients from it. Humans can't do that. And like there's animals like cats who they're carnivores, right? They can't eat a vegetarian diet because their digestive system isn't built for that. It's the same like our digestive system is built to be omnivores, and also I think we probably evolved to eat cooked food now because we've been cooking food for God knows how long, since we invented fire, I guess.
Why, and you need to give an animal, you need to make a ton of meat. You need 10 tons of plant. You know, what does the meat that we're eating? They eat plants, don't they? So, you know, I think the most abundant material is plants. 75% of all species are herbivores.
But you know, the planet that's... Sorry, go on, Craig.
Well, they've created a society where we're just followers. We follow authority, and they just tell us what to eat, what to wear, what to dress.
Who? No one tells you what to do.
The technocrats. You should read the book, The Technological Society by Jacques Ellul. I've been reading it this week, and it goes into detail onto all of this. It actually explains how they would brainwash the peasants with your basically the epistemology that you've displayed on this panel before.
But this author that you're putting so much credence into and trust into, you've read a book.
This is what is this argument? He doesn't even know anything about the book or the author, but he's gonna like poison the well. And then I ask him what books does he read. He won't tell me. He doesn't read books. He doesn't. I could. This is so stupid.
Sort of
like, how do you talk to someone like this? I'm like, hey, I read this really cool book, and then they're just like, oh yeah, but that's just a book. Like, that's their fucking argument.
Highlighted a particular.
What the fuck? This is like, it's so like I hate this society, dude. Like, I don't think you people realize how dumbed down you've become.
Theory. So, granted, this theory might be useful to read and look at, but you know.
But I don't know anything about the book or the author, and I'm just gonna give my uninformed opinion and be really condescending, even though I'm the illiterate one, and you're talking about books. I'm talking about reading books, and he's still being like condescending. Like, what world is this, dude? Holy shit!
You know, let's not.
God dang it! This fucking microphone.
Overhammered by a book that we've just read. You know, it's got to be, everything's got to be put into the.
He's one of the big boys.
He doesn't read, but he's like, let's not pay attention to books. Let's read journalist articles and mainstream media articles and take them as a fact and never question them. That's what we should do. I am Alan. Oh my lord.
Boys and other big players in the game like Zbigniew Brzezinski and Bertrand Russell referred to this guy, Jacques Ellul. He's a French philosopher. The man was incredibly brilliant.
I don't base my opinions on what someone else says.
That's so not true. Is so. This guy is total fantasy land. It's just he's delusional and he can't. Wow, he has this like idea of himself that is so far from reality.
I listen to what they say, and I'll
No, you actually are just completely brainwashed by propaganda, and you believe whatever the authority or the guy in the white lab coat tells you to believe.
How do you know that?
Because I've listened to you speak, and I've studied like how they would use education to induce this type of thinking in the peasant class. As I've stated earlier, as the books I read have gone into extreme detail in this process.
It depends on what books you're reading, though, doesn't it? I mean, you could be reading.
That's all this argument is. Like, oh shit, he's brought up books again. I don't read, therefore I gotta act like books don't matter or something. What the fuck? But he just reads shit journalist media shit.
Right wing crap.
I'm not reading.
See, right-wing crap. He's like in this. Oh my god.
Right-wing crap. I'm going to the people and
everything is like left, right, political. He's black, white. He can't think outside the box whatsoever. But he thinks he's this like open-minded, critical thinker. He's the total opposite.
Power. The technocrats, as I've mentioned earlier, they are the authority figures.
You're getting your views of other people, as long as you're including your own skepticism.
I'm getting my views from the people in power, like Zbigniew Brzezinski, who was the Secretary of Defense in the Jimmy Carter administration, sir. And he was a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, the people that rule the planet.
That's what. Yeah, that's one opinion that we can put with.
It's not. It's not an opinion, sir.
I'm quoting opinions from the kings of the world, and he's just like, "Oh, that's just someone's opinion." It's like, no, dude, this is like a king. This is the guy who's in power. This is not just like Joe Blow YouTuber's opinion or something. Like, it's so fucking crazy.
It's from the people that rule the planet. Are you listening to what I'm saying?
You're making a lot of claims.
I'm not making
You
any.
said I'm brainwashed. You said I'm brainwashed. So you need to kind of.
People, the Royal Institute of International Affairs and the Council on Foreign Relations. This is where I'm getting this information from. They're directly from the horse's mouth. The people in power, the people that are implementing these strategies for the upper class to dominate the lower class.
Oh,
so
I'm not.
You're saying it's completely inaccurate.
When have I denied that?
He's fucking gaslighting.
You haven't, but you're acting like.
Alan guy is just gaslighting me, dude.
So what are you going on about then?
You're illiterate. You don't even read.
I think you're looking for an argument.
What's the last book you read?
I think you're looking for an argument.
All right. You're illiterate.
God, it drops down to 5. Why does it do that?
Homonyms that people use when they've got no argument.
You're not addressing my argument.
He doesn't have an argument. His argument is like, but that's just in the book. That's not a fucking argument.
You need to play the ball and not the man.
Yeah, but you're ignoring my argument because of your illiteracy.
I didn't even know I was talking to Still Waters. I didn't even know you were in the argument.
It doesn't want to talk to the guy who reads. That's why none
What
of
is your argument? What is it you want to say?
Dude, no one will come to my channel and try and talk shit and argue with me. No one. They're all afraid of me. All these fucking big shot debater motherfuckers. You see them come here and want to debate. No one wants to debate. They want to debate people who are dumber than them only. Because they feel comfortable that way.
Spread your wisdom.
Oh, this guy reads books. Let's label him as a porn bomber and ban him from the community. Let's exile him. I don't want to have to deal with his arguments. He's a porn bomber, so now I don't have to deal. You're just a troll. I don't have to argue with you. Bye.
I have spoken.
At this point, I think I was just like, holy fuck, like, how do I even have a conversation with this person? He doesn't read.
You've not really made much sense, dude, so maybe try...
And I haven't made sense. I haven't made sense, dude. Holy shit.
Group, have a look at it, and then come back when you have a better, more articulate, coherent thing to say.
How was I not articulate that entire time? I was very articulate. This guy is total gaslighting me. He's really intimidated or jealous, or I don't know what the fuck, man, but it's fucking insane.
Well, do you know, Alan, the other night they said to me, you should write a book.
Sorry?
You said to me, this stuff, you should write.
I'm destroying him. His arguments are shit. I'm bringing up sources and citations, and he's just going, that's just a source. That's not an argument, man. And then he just goes like, oh, you're ad hominem me, and you're not articulate, and your arguments are bad. So he just ad homs me back after. He's such a fucking piece of shit.
Right. If you feel you've got things to say.
So who would that book? Who would it have been for?
You could write a book, all right, and then in the future someone can read your book and quote it or whatever. But it still means that you have, who is this person who wrote this book? Where does he come from, etc. I'm just saying.
Alan, I told you the people that the books I'm talking about are in power. This isn't like some guy just wrote a book. And then it could say, of course, I could write a book, and it could say anything, but for one, it'd be hard to get published, right? If it's just like, you're just some asshole writing a book, they're probably not going to publish your book. And I'm not, like he doesn't understand. He's just clearly not listening to what I'm saying.
The scientific method is about taking everything in the round, so all the evidence that's out there. So we can pick up the things that other people bring up and stuff that I bring up.
Oh shit!
It's about putting it all together, putting the jigsaw together, and understanding it with a bit of nuance. Not taking everything black and white, or not taking anything as being true just because it's someone said it in a book or whatever. You need to test it and challenge it.
Well, there's the thing. Some things in book can be just somebody's opinion, but some things you can agree with, because you can see it happening.
You're hilarious, Alan. My God.
Sure. Well, have you got anything to back that up? Any substance?
Hey, the sky is blue, water is wet. Do you got any other profound insights, Alan?
All he does is sit there and state like obvious shit that everyone knows. He's acting like fucking. It's this like profound shit that no one's ever heard or something.
So what we saying still? Was?
He's so frustrated with me. He tries to talk to the other guy.
I'm saying you can take your evidence and how you view the life from a book, from any type of media, from film, from a school, from anything in life. You can just see it and you agree with it. So it doesn't matter where you get it. It's whether you can say why you think the same thing is important, isn't it?
All information is important, Everything that we hear and see and touch and feel, everything is there. It's about how open you are to it.
So if you're only open to certain things, you're only going to retrieve information from those things. So you've got to be open. You've got to look at everything the same, haven't you, without any bias.
Exactly. Yeah, objective truths which you can test with evidence, etc. I think the fact the difference with humans and other animals is that we have an imagination, don't we? And we kind of.
But as an animal, because when I watch an animal and you see food, its pick up, its mouth starts to drill, starts to salivate, so it's thinking of something that's happening in the future.
Yeah, it's conscious, but what I'm saying is because humans have such, like compared to an animal, we have like like the best computer in the world.
Here I start getting to it again with that.
Being part of vivisection. So then I just started thinking about that, and then I started thinking about how we get our meat, and then based on just thinking about that for a few days.
Oh, he's talking about how he came to the conclusion to be a vegetarian. Maybe I should play that. Him talking about that.
We're supposed to eat them, we just wouldn't think of it, would we? We just eat
I want to play that.
But we didn't eat them before.
I want to play this because he said he doesn't get his opinions from other people.
Before we did we?
No, I can't say. Yeah, so something made our brain think. So we had to start off as a veggie.
Yeah, so it's.
Why did we have to start off as a veggie?
But I mean,
I don't see where the evidence for that is.
I don't know why when I was 19 I looked at the situation, saw an advert with a monkey being part of vivisection.
See? When he was 19, he saw an advert of a monkey being abused or something, and that's how he became a vegetarian. See, he was thinking for himself. I mean, that advert clearly wasn't propaganda or trying to influence his thoughts, was it? It's all him.
So then I just started thinking about that, and then I started thinking about how we get our meat.
It's hilarious, too, because in the books I read about propaganda, Jacques Ellul talks about how the propaganda would be designed in a way that the person thinks they're coming to these opinions and conclusions themselves.
And then based on just thinking about that for a few days, it was quite easy for me to become a vegetarian and then a vegan. It's, for me, I didn't need to eat it. It wasn't necessary. So that was my choice. Why other people don't have that same thought, whether it's because they they don't get to the point where they're able to think about it objectively, or whether
in his he's thinking about it objectively, right? And other people can't. Other people who disagree with him, they're not thinking objectively because they disagree with him.
I don't know, maybe it's an interesting point why some people do feel or are empathetic to where their food is coming from, and the reason why, because a lot of people don't. So
your thinking is very surface level, though, because I mean, what about a lion? It needs to eat meat, you know. So it's like, it's just the circle of life. I mean, that's just the way life works. You can't exist without consuming something for energy. It's not moral.
If I let that lion go, how long would it take to open that meat? Get into it and start eating it.
I don't understand the point. Miko's like, see, lions can tear up meat and eat it easier with their claws and sharp fangs. But if a human tried to do that, it would take a lot longer. Therefore, humans should be vegetarian. What?
How long would it take you?
If you grab a fucking knife and go do it quicker than a lion.
Hands.
I don't know.
It'd be pretty hard though, wouldn't it, to get into a rabbit or whatever, like tearing it apart and things.
But there are species that were once meat eaters and they became herbivores. Herbivores became meat eaters. So it's as long as we keep it on the table, that things change. Things can change. There's no certainty of all the time. You know, there's possibilities for things to change, either for the good or for bad. You know, if it's about survival. You know, if a predator eats all its prey, then that's going to go extinct. Does it know that, or not? Does it not know that, or?
No, it fulfills a niche in its environment. Our niche is that of like we're omnivores, and I don't think it's like I don't think it's immoral to eat meat, and I don't know. I think I like the perspective of the Native Americans. They thought if I think we should respect animals, and they believed that when you eat an animal, you take on part of its spirit. So,
but Alan doesn't believe in spirit, so
I don't see like death as a negative thing. It's just part of a cycle. It's part of life.
But
these people that don't believe in spirit or soul, they just see death as like the ultimate evil, and the goal of life is just to live long as possible. And they want to create a world where nothing ever dies, and they don't even think about if they create a world and nothing ever dies, then there's going to be like too many people real quick. See, for every problem you solve, like if you solve death, you just create new problems like overpopulation. So there's no way to end suffering or get rid of problems. They're always going to exist. You can only change the way in which you suffer. So it's just kind of pointless to try and like keep fixing and making things, trying to make things perfect. Like it's never going to happen. Like the utopia is not, it's not realistic.
Stick animals on farms, that's not a natural process, is it?
I mean, it depends on your definition of natural.
But this is not happening naturally, is it?
When you check back in Overpair,
I mean, is it natural? Is a bird's nest natural?
It does. Wow, insane.
Yeah.
Well, it's not got human intervention, is it?
But humans are a part of nature.
So if you do a test tube baby, that's
gonna make some food.
I mean, it depends. This is like semantics. It depends how you define natural. Because I mean, the animals build things, and animals, I don't know. There's symbiotic relationships of animals. We have, like bees and flowers have a symbiotic relationship, while humans have domesticated animals and formed a similar relationship.
Yeah, but I mean, we've kind of made it into an industry, haven't we? Humans, because of their intelligence, are able to break it all down. It's now a full industrial food complex with factory farms, and to create cheap meat, to breed animals a third of their lifespan. And so the human population can eat meat.
I think
That's the situation. So
you're just making it black and white, and it's not, because you're not thinking about what about the animals that benefit from the human intervention too.
like who?
Like the animals benefit, man. You don't think the animals benefit from their domestication process through humanity?
Well, not by living a third of their life.
I don't think you're being very open-minded here.
Well, a sheep, for example, only just gets to grow its first teeth, if that, before it's killed. It has an average lifespan 7 to 10 years. It's killed after 3 years if it's lucky.
You've got like a bias, and you're filtering your reality to this premise that you've already decided is true. So
I've just give you all I've just said there is facts that are very basically true. So, I don't know. What,
yeah, and I just exposed how you're closed-minded.
Sure.
Well, would you say this is?
I think you're just exposing yourself to being closed-minded, because I didn't even give an opinion. You just don't like those facts that I'm giving out, do you?
I don't think oh my God.
It's hard for you to accept those facts, isn't it?
Would you say there's a survival of the fittest goes on? Or there should be?
That or the survival of the luckiest.
Well, if you're using your brains, is that the same as the survival of the fittest?
It helps.
Yeah, but you can be as brilliant as you want. You would have to make the car to get away, but if it was left on you, running away from something, which would be the natural way to get away. Doesn't matter what you're thinking. If you can't run, you're going to be eaten, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So, our intervention in that survival of the fittest, is it destroying things?
Is it destroying things?
Yeah. Is it altering the natural order?
What do you think?
I think it is, yeah. It's changing, but no, it can't change enough to break it, but it's making it. It's definitely changing things, yeah. But there's when you say there's natural, there's two forms of natural, isn't there? There's a natural where you leave it and it happens, or you intervene, and we would say that was unnatural, maybe.
Well, again, we were talking about what is natural or what's not natural, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, but there's always that argument, is where what we're doing right now is natural. It's natural to us, like we're building it, it's us.
We're just lucky to be living at this time, aren't we? We're just lucky to, the path that you've led, the path that I've led, have led to this point in time of speaking to us on this chat. And,
So do you see anything wrong with now? Or do you think it's because it's better than before, we should be happy?
Who?
Everybody. Because we're only looking at our group, aren't we? It's like if you look outside of it, there's a lot of suffering in the world, isn't there?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think we can only really talk with any kind of authority if it's about ourselves and what we think personally and how we make our own decisions. When we start talking on behalf of other people, we just need to be careful about that.
Yeah, but it's like you can still witness other people and comment on what you've observed, can't you?
Yeah, no one can do that. But is it based on is it based on informed knowledge? Have they took everything into account? Is it objective?
Well, it's anything ever, because if you look at history, all this is tying dots together. Everything that we see and we think is one constant stream is just fragments. Isn't it? We think very little of the true reality that must be going on.
Some people do, some people don't.
Well, I don't think any of us is capable of seeing the true reality.
Yeah,
what true reality? True reality for what? For who?
But the true reality that we have that is just aimed towards fitness and survival, isn't it? Everything that we experience is for that. So there's things going on that we don't see.
Exactly.
It's like you say, I could see through you, X-ray eyes. I could never see your skin, could I? I'd always be looking through you. So it always has to be something you give up to see something else. You can't see them all at once.
Space isn't really nothing.
Or time.
Space and solid are linked. Like you can't have one without the other. So
What makes you say that statement then?
it's like the yin and the yang. They define each other. Like if hot didn't exist, then there wouldn't be such a thing as cold, or that applies to like everything. But humans were dualistic because like look at a human being, you can divide it down the center, and it's pretty much the same on both sides, with the exception of the heart. And we're symmetrical. So we think
So would it be
symmetrical.
true to say it's the same but different?
Yeah, there's an implied like conspiracy where things that are opposite are actually one thing. They seem like they're opposite, but they're actually one.
What would you say for an objective reality? If it hasn't got the opposite, it's not real.
I have no idea what you said right there.
Like say I say colour. You can compare a colour to another colour, and we can say the labels are the same, but we can never say what that colour is, can we?
Well, we perceive colors. That has to do with like frequencies, and our eyes see certain what is it, like radiation.
But where do you see? Where do you view it? It's not in the eyes, is it? But it feels like it is.
Well, it's perceived through the eyes. Yeah, your rods and your cones or whatever would pick up the light waves and then transmit it to your brain as visual information.
So do you know your cones and rods in the eyes? That I know I drift off on other things, but do you know your cones and rods in the eyes? You've got so many cones and so many rods, and one's for light and one's for dark, isn't it?
I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I know like I'm colorblind, so I have certain I don't have the same rods and cones as other people, so I see the world differently than everyone else.
Right. So when you see things, it's not like they're absent, is it? You're seeing something, aren't you?
Yeah, I see colors, but there's like a part of the color spectrum I can't pick up, and then so everything looks a shade different to me.
But you don't know what it's like to see it with that colour near, do you? So it's just your world, isn't it?
Yep. So I subjectively see colors differently than people objectively see colors.
So now what's the world then? Is it the way you see it or the way we see it because we've got extra colours, or if something else sees it more with more colours? What is the objective world? Is it the way the human sees the world, or
you can't really describe objective truth because once you put something into words, it becomes a reification fallacy, and it's like
been swallowing up some Nathan Oakley, have you?
That's not Nathan Oakley.
That's the reification fallacy.
Yeah, he talks about reification fallacy, but it's not the same. Nathan Oakley thinks just saying something is an illogical fallacy is an argument when it's not. So he just sits there and goes, "That's a logical fallacy," which is really fucking stupid.
so your cones and rods in your eyes have got more cones than rods or something, and the ones we've got more are the ones that we'd use at night, but because we're missing an enzyme, they don't work the same. So what I was thinking is, with us burning in the sun, do you think there's white people? I don't know, maybe the same for black, but black seem to survive in the sun, that they may be nocturnal and what's the opposite of nocturnal? Like daytime people, do you know what I mean? Because the sun burns our skin, doesn't it? And also destroys eyesight as well, I think.
Oh, you heard about with the UV coming into the eye or something?
Yeah.
The opposite of nocturnal is diurnal.
What? Hey, what's up?
Some people
opposite
say
of-
like sun gazing, that if you do it at the right times, actually can restore eyesight. I don't know how true that is, but
Sounds legit, Jake. Good comment. The opposite of nocturnal is diurnal.
All right. Could you think that there might be a species of human that actually has the two opposites, a daytime and a nighttime? And because of the way society's set up, we just think this is normal, yet we suffer in the sun. Things that happen to our skin, we die off.
I think, well, no, humans are on the circadian rhythm or something, aren't they? So I think we're diurnal. But teenagers, I think, are more nocturnal, or they have their circadian rhythm is like messed up. So teenage kind of nocturnalish.
I made.
Well, is it messed up, or is it just we unnaturalize them or something? You know?
Well, I mean, it's messed up in comparison to
Yeah.
people of other ages. So our society kind of forces them to go to bed early and stuff, and wake up early when their bodies might not. They might be more tending to want to stay up late. I was like that when I was younger. You know, it was fun to stay up late. I remember, and sleep in.
My whole family's been like that in my relations, where you go around and knock on the door 4 o'clock at night in the morning, sort of thing, and they still be up.
Now that I'm older, I go to bed early, wake up early.
Strange, so, because society's just set for one time, sort of thing, isn't it? 9 to 5, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yet it's becoming more nocturnal now, isn't it? This thing's open all night. So have you looked into the Hermetic principle, Pete?
No.
If you're into dualism and opposing opposites, that's the best place to go. It's like what the Egyptians thought. So Hermetic sealed, so it's like sort of like thermodynamics as well. Know how you always base it on as if it's in a sealed thing. It's that sort of thing. So as above, so below, as in front. Or with the projection thing people do. It's like a reflection, isn't it? It's like the same but different.
Yeah, it's because like people are repressing their dark side, so like we're denying things about ourselves that we don't like, which makes us hate ourselves, and then we can't. They can't self-analyze or self-reflect very well, so what they'll do is they can see the faults in other people that are true about themselves, but they can't see that they're like hypocritical. So they can't see that.
Just say like that sometimes when somebody's asked in the comment and they make a statement like you don't because you was asked it, it's a different one to when they feel the need to sit there and shout it out. Then it becomes a projection, doesn't it?
Yeah, so Carl Jung thought to fix the world that we had to integrate your dark side and your light side. So you stop like hating the negative things about yourself and repressing it and just accept that it's a part of you. And then that way you can like not hate other people and stuff as much because you're not looking for the things you hate about you. People are looking for what they hate of themselves and others. So if you stop hating yourself, then that's how you stop hating other people.
Because you're the only one feeling it, aren't you? Hate you create is the only hate you feel, and it's not a nice feeling. It's doing something to you, and the more, but it's addictive. It's an energy that you're feeding on, but it's the wrong energy. And because we've been brought up on that energy, I think it feels normal to feed on it, and it is.
The hatred will consume you. I just chopped up an apple and put some non-fat yogurt on top of it. Holy shit, that was delicious. That was so good. And super low calorie, like this big tub of non-fat yogurt is only like 450 calories, and then an apple is like 100 calories. So that's a fucking great for breakfast or something. You get some protein, some carbs, some fat. Well, actually, there's no fat there, but I'll eat a lot of fat.
It's like that Star Wars thing, the dark energy. It's a powerful energy, but it's not nice.
Society like promotes it. Like the society's telling you to hate yourself. Advertising is like telling you you're not good enough. You need this product to be good. And what was I gonna say? Fuck, I forgot.
It's like feeding the ego, isn't it? You need this to be good,
It promotes that victim mentality. Like if you have anger inside of you and you just blame other people, like I'm not where I want to be in life because of this person or that person, and then you don't take responsibility and try to improve your life, and you just it's like a self-destructive, self-fulfilling prophecy.
I love this fucking shit right here.
You know, living with you, it hasn't been easy. People see me, but they think of you. Now with all this going on, this is gonna be worse than ever.
It don't have to be.
No, sure it does.
Why? You got a lot going on, kid.
Oh, what, my last name? That's the reason I got a decent job. That's the reason why people deal with me in the first place. Now I start to get a little ahead. I start to get a little something for myself, and this happens. Now I'm asking you as a favor not to go through with this, okay? This is only gonna end up bad for you, and it's gonna end up bad for me.
You think I'm hurting you?
Yeah, in a way you are.
That's the last thing I ever wanted to do.
I know that's not what you want to do, but that's just the way that it is. Don't you care what people think? Doesn't it bother you that people are making you out to be a joke and that I'm gonna be included in that? Do you think that's right? Do you?
You ain't gonna believe this, but you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up and say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you every day. It was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Best motivational speech ever.
I'm always gonna love you no matter what. No matter what happens. You're my son, you're my blood. You're the best thing in my life. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life.
Shit. God, stupid fucking
forget to visit
shit's
your mom.
ridiculous. That's the best motivational speech in the history of motivational speeches. I love that fucking shit.
So you say where some people, when somebody reacts badly to it, there's always somebody who feels the need to press that button, isn't there? It's like as if that test has to be there. It only stops when you stop reacting, sort of thing, doesn't it? I think we all getting tested in that way. Like we get held like insults and things. It's because you need to toughen up in a way.
Insults are just a way of taking away from the subject matter, aren't they? And you play the man, not the ball.
Yeah, in a debate it is, yeah, when you're having a discussion.
I think it's fun to engage in banter, and it's an intellectual activity to come up with witty remarks and quips.
As long as that's agreed at the beginning, that's the type of conversation you're having.
What do you mean agreed on the beginning?
Well, as long as it's understood, isn't it? Is only banter.
Yeah, because they might take it the wrong way.
Dumb as fuck, Alan.
Yeah.
God.
Well, Alan, I found like you're very passive aggressive when you kind of what's the word, condescend when you talk to people. So
sure, I've had that before. Yeah, I accept that. That may be a flaw that I have. Sometimes it's hard to articulate what one wants to say. But when
you use the word articulate twice within an hour, you're trying to sound smart because you're talking to someone who reads books and you don't read books, but you want to argue with the person that reads.
When in my personal worldview, a lot of people find it's good ammunition for them to go against that. So sometimes, especially if the conversation, then starts getting, well, you're just brainwashed, so baby, or you're using ad hominems against the person, and that basically means you're treating that person with contempt. So therefore, whatever they say doesn't really matter. That's the whole point. That's what Trump does. That's what
Trump does. He hates the right. So this is something I noticed. If you talk about how we're indoctrinated and brainwashed as like a whole entire society, people think that you're not talking about yourself, and they think you're just calling them brainwashed and they get offended. But when I'm talking about how you're indoctrinated, or we're indoctrinated, like I was indoctrinated, everyone was indoctrinated. I still have beliefs that were instilled into me from these bullshit people that control the world that I don't question because I haven't even probably considered or thought about them. It's like probably some bunch of subconscious shit indoctrinated into me.
Politicians do. They smear the person, so that means their word means nothing. You treat them with contempt.
I got good news for you, Alan, because your worldview is part of the agenda. This like vegetarian, like green, save the environment, save the planet. That's going to be pushed heavily in the future, and it's going to become like basically a cult or religion across the planet. So everyone's going to.
You're saying vegetarian becomes a thing that's getting pushed. So how do you know the meat thing that you're doing right now wasn't something that was pushed in the past?
Well, because I go read their documents. They put out Agenda 21. The United Nations agenda. It's a non-binding agreement, but in there it puts out what they want for the 21st century. That's why it's called Agenda 21, and it mentions in there about they don't want people eating meat, and they'll use the excuse of sustainability and climate change as a reason to take away our ability to eat meat.
Well, perhaps it's just a suggestion.
Well, perhaps.
Great comment, Alan. You don't know what Agenda 21 is, so let's hear your uninformed opinion, Alan. Jesus Christ.
But I've been doing my homework, and I'm quite confident that is the agenda for the future that will be pushed on us by those above in power. So you're going to get your wish will come true, Alan.
Like, why does Alan comment on Agenda 20? He doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but he wants to give his opinion about it. What the fuck is... Why do people give their opinions on things they know absolutely nothing about?
But I would say that my... I don't think...
Talk about Dunning-Kruger. Alan was talking about Dunning-Kruger the last time, but Jesus Christ, he's displaying Dunning-Kruger. Like, he's giving his opinion on shit he clearly has done no research into. And he's talking to someone who has. Like, I do research into propaganda, and he wants to tell me about propaganda like I'm wrong about it. He doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about anything. Shit. Man.
I think this as much as I have done, because in recent years, with Brexit and the way politics is going, in terms of lies and smears and stuff, and the whole nature of politics at its worst, thinking about the environment and thinking about what we do, what we do to the earth around us, is just something that people will naturally accept. It's just a straightforward